Welcome back to our channels, Warriors. We are still growing. Make sure you share this content. This is going to be one of two videos that I'm dropping today, so be on point and be on the lookout for the other one. This topic right here, this one goes out to all the people behind the walls having to deal with the shenanigans, right? And the incompetence, the buffoonery. All right. It is a systemic culture of incompetence at the highest level of the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. I have seen examples over examples over examples of people in positions of power that have absolutely no place in being there, right? They either kissed ass on the way to the top. Well, they did kiss ass on the way to the top, right? They smutted up their partners, threw them under the bus. Just scandalous, grimy stuff, right? Yeah, you may be in a position, right? But nobody respects you. And I'll be the one to tell you that, right? Because other people are still collecting their paycheck. And rightfully so. I'm their voice, okay? I'm your guys' voice. So, this is what the voice has to say today. I've seen a lot of BS throughout my career, right? More so over the past years, man. It went nuts. The incompetent went nuts. But don't worry, we're going to bring it back. All right? That's why we're gathering together as a network of warriors. With that being said, you know that incident at Wasco where the officer brought in a whiskey bottle and a weapon? That in itself is concerns for mental health, right? So we should probably get proactive instead of reactive. A reactive measure, an example would be the powers above in headquarters having all the managers go out to the gatehouses, right? Captains, AWs, chiefs, whatever. What was the point of that, right? And I know what happened at Donovan. We never seen the managers, right? They were always in their office sending BS emails, just clueless, absolutely clueless as what's happening on the ground level. Just don't have that spine, just don't have that backbone to hold them in an upright position, chest out, chin up. Right? They're going to cower and say, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Right? It's pathetic. It's disgusting, quite frankly. Right? Because I was at the rank of a lieutenant. And I was still putting my foot down when the BS arose. Which was often. That's why I left. Wasn't worth the heartache. This is way better. You can't put a frivolous investigation on me when I'm not in the department. I'm winning. I'm straight winning. And the fact that I'm speaking facts and have all the documentation to prove it? Oh, balls in my court, buddies. Anyhow, yeah, reactive, proactive, right? In Corcoran, when that inmate chopped off his cellmate's head on first watch, that inmate put a barrier so you couldn't see inside the cell, which is a constant tactic that these inmates use to get under our skin, piss us off, right? Just cry out for attention, shenanigans. Well, in the old days, you used to be able to crack that door and pull that curtain off and be able to see what was transpiring in there. Well, over the years, the powers above said you guys can't do that anymore. So the officers are now forced with the dilemma like, hey, if we're screwed if we go in there to see if the person's alive, in this case, the one I'm talking about, the inmate was not alive because his head was not on his body. The head was on the desk or on the bed, and his body was slumped over like this. Blood everywhere, right? And there's a thing called an emergency cell entry, which I used to love doing those when I was an ADSEG sergeant. Preservation of life, I used to call it, right? We got to make sure you're alive, buddy. So in essence, it's an emergency situation. The problem is when the incompetent people at the top put everybody under investigation, right? Captains and above, right? When somebody uses force, an officer or a sergeant, whatever, or lieutenant, there's a process. It's a use of force critique. It's at the lieutenant, at the captain, at the AW, and then it goes to a committee where everybody reviews it, different review levels. It's so funny how me as a lieutenant, I would always clear them when I saw that the facts added up, right? When shit made sense in accordance with policy and procedure. These cowardly captains would be like, well, let's just forward it up to investigations for just, what do they fucking call it? Just to be transparent. You want to be transparent. How about you speak out about what's really happening in the department? It's funny how you only want to be transparent when you're burning cops and not holding your guys' self accountable. Don't worry, I'm here to hold you guys accountable. So with that being said, and I'm sure OIA, Office of Internal Affairs, can agree, right? Because some have already reached out to me in a positive manner, saying, yeah, man, some of the BS that they send us can and should be handled at the institutional level. But again, not having a spine, not having a backbone, not having that intestinal fortitude to be a man or a woman and do your job, right? Because you're cowering to politics and promotions, right? It's disgusting. Oh my God. Pathetic. You guys are pathetic. I said it. I'll say it again. Pathetic. The last straw that broke the camel's back for Hector Bravo, I'm going to tell you right now. The associate director of Richard J. Donovan Correctional Facility, in all his might, right? Big shot. In his head, he's a big shot. On paper, he thinks he's a big shot. Dude rolls up with a protein shake like this. Look, buddy, I got one too. Not that impressive, man. So, rolls up to the warden's conference room, right? And at that time, it was that previous warden. He was after Pollard, before this one. Absolutely didn't have a spine either. This dude just hid under the desk till he was time to roll out. He golfed a lot. I'll give him that. He did do a lot of golfing. Anyhow, dude shows up, the associate director. Well, sergeants and lieutenants kind of caught wind of he had something important to say. Let's see what this dude has to say. Dude brings his cronies, number one and number two. Poor people, innocent bystanders, they didn't realize what was about to happen. So, because they were used to people kissing this guy's ass. Well, let me tell you something. At Donovan, we're fed up. There is no more kissing ass. All right? They're standing up for what's right. And that's it. You want to kiss ass, go to headquarters, go somewhere where the ass kissing is accepted and part of the culture. So, which leads to incompetence and buffoonery. So, this guy sits down, this clown, and says, hey, you guys are no longer allowed to put inmates in handcuffs because when you do and the inmates assault you, that's your fault. You instigated that. And we were like, hold up, buddy. Time out. Not going to happen. No way in hell. Anybody who's an anybody was in that room. People that have used force, people that I have fought alongside with, sergeants, lieutenants. These dudes knew their shit. Guys that mentored me when I was a young buck, took me under their wing. Guys that have been through battles, right, in the department. We fired off with everything we had on this AD, this associate director. That's not gonna happen. One sergeant, a very knowledgeable sergeant, started reading the California Penal Code, something that we swear in at the academy. I went to the Stockton Level 4 Academy, by the way. I didn't go to Galt. Anyhow, in 2006. Hey, we got a badge. We're sworn peace officer duties. Peace officers do not have the duty to retreat under verbal threats and or physical, meaning, hey, we're peace officers. If we have to put you in handcuffs to detain you, we will in the performance of our duties. This clown's like, hey, what are you reading that from over there, man? And he's like, California Penal Code? Oh, no, that's not for us. That's not for us, man. That's for cops on the streets. I think it's time for you to retire, man. I think it's time for you to retire. The more I sit on it, the more, and this is a fact, man. I can only speak on facts. For even me to make up a story like that would be far-fetched, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't even make up a story like that. I'm getting sick just thinking about it. So, everybody went in the room. Some people talked about how they've been stabbed, literally stabbed. Some people have talked about how they've been in riots, how they've been in staff assaults, the purpose of why we do what we do. Oh my God. This guy kept doubling down on stupidity. Nope, I don't care. I have a protein shake. I have a shirt 3 times too small for me. I think I'm a somebody. Dude, you're a nobody. Respect is earned, not demanded. Get that. That's basic. I learned that as a private in the Army at 17 years old. 17 years old, I learned what it's like to be a man. Fuck. Some people just don't get it. Some people, oh my God. Anyhow, we went off on this dude as to why. Oh, I told you about the previous warden. This warden's in the threshold of the doorway, starts chiming in on behalf of the associate director. I'm like, dude, in my head, what are you kissing ass for? You're out of here. You're out of here in a week. You haven't said shit all year. And now you, get out of here, dude. You're a joke, right? So this is what I'm talking about. The systemic incompetence and culture at the managerial level in the California Department of Corrections. That's why I was able to run circles around these clowns, these buffoons. Because I know policy, I know procedure, I know case law, I know penal code. I have experience on the ground. I have experience working with management as a public information officer, as the crisis response team commander. You could say I'm well-rounded, right? Because that's the style that I chose, listening to the troops. I wouldn't be fucking anywhere if it wasn't for the officers. Right? The ones that were putting in work on the line and giving me information and intelligence as to what is transpiring on the facilities. Right? That's how that works. That's called leadership. Leadership. All right? This clown doubles down to not having it. Nope, I'm the boss. I say what goes. You know what boss means, right? That's what the inmates used to call us it's boss, right? It's stupid son of a bitch spelled backwards. In case you guys from not prison didn't know. So yeah, buddy, you're the boss. Anyhow, with that being said, this guy proceeds to say, nah, when you guys use force or when you guys put inmates in handcuffs and then they beat you up and that results in the use of force, I'm putting you guys under investigation. Anyhow, it's not a secret as to why I left. I told the cops I'd be able to help them more outside if I left. And look, I'm doing it now. So, it has to change. It has to change for the future kids, for all these youngsters, for California, the state of California. It's not a bad state. For you out-of-staters, well, it is a bad state. But not everybody in the state is bad is what I meant to say. All right. Keep pushing forward.